This week I got a pick 3. We picked the platform as Max. The genre is documentary. We don't watch a lot of documentaries around here. The number was 17. And so for this movie, it is a blend of interviews, archival footage, and this photographer's iconic work, which comes together to show his impact on America.
That sounds serious.
Yeah,
It
this
does
is
sound
my
serious.
only serious synopsis because it sounded like a serious movie, so I didn't feel like I could just like slough it off and make a joke.
You gonna be just talking about a guy in a trench coat and a hat?
Exactly, yeah. I had to be for serial. And so, we're going to look at some photographers' works this week.
And a motion picture of pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called A Choice of Weapons. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Flipper Flicks. I'm Sam.
I'm Adam.
I'm Tim.
And Sam decided to give Flipper Flicks the first billing.
Yes.
Rather than saying her name first.
Yeah, that's usually how I do it.
Not how I did it last week.
You like to keep it fresh.
Yeah. That was it. And I didn't forget.
I'm gonna change it up next week. You watch.
Do it.
He's gonna be like,
I dare you.
I'm Tipper Flim.
Close, but that's not what I'm gonna do.
Tipper
I
Flim.
will be impressed if you remember, Tim.
Yeah, I won't.
Well, how did we get this movie? Was it a wordplay?
No.
Was it a pick 3?
Yes.
Yes.
I was envisioning pick 3 in my mind, but I said wordplay. I don't know why.
Wordplay.
Yeah, I don't know
was
why.
like, it was not a wordplay, but that's what came to mind.
As a reminder to Sam, we picked Max documentary in 17.
Yes.
But they already heard that.
Yeah, I know, but I still can't get used to that. Like, I feel like that's the way I prime myself into the episode.
Yeah.
So I'm explaining what happened. So they just have to listen to it twice.
Boom, roasted.
Maybe I'll say it slightly different.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, so we got A Choice of Weapons. There's more to the subtext, isn't there? Like the Gordon Parks
Inspired by
story.
Gordon Parks.
Yeah. There you go. I was already on the synopsis, so I couldn't see the rest of the title. The synopsis follows Gordon Parks' stellar career from staff photographer for Life magazine through his artistic development, photographing everyday Americans, through his evolution as a novelist and groundbreaking filmmaker. Well, that just spoils that he does other things than photography, which I didn't know until I watched this.
Yeah.
I was like,
Which is weird.
yeah.
Yeah. Technically, Sam and I knew who he was from film
Yeah.
by accident.
Yeah.
We watched the Warner Brothers 100-year anniversary, and how they were talking about how they had the first African American director,
Okay.
and that was part of it. And they're like, "Yeah, Gordon Parks." And I'm like, "Okay, I don't know who that is."
Yeah.
And then this comes on, and I'm like, I didn't connect the dots until they were like, they literally said the same verbatim.
yeah. I was going to say, I recognized the learning tree, and I was like,
Wait a second.
I know enough about Warner Brothers to know about that.
Yeah. Well, and then he did Shaft as well.
Yeah. Shaft looked wild.
Shaft looked hilarious. Now, I think they remade Shaft. They did.
That's amazing.
Samuel L. Jackson's in it.
That
sounds
doesn't
familiar.
surprise
Yeah.
me.
And Christian Bale?
Interesting.
Yeah, dude.
And Busta
Bailey
Rhymes?
boy.
I'm a little more surprised about Busta Rhymes. But, Richard Roundtree's also in that, and he's the original Shaft.
Nice.
The original.
Yeah, and he's known as
What?
Uncle John Shaft. So that's pretty funny.
Oh, okay.
Wait, when did they remake it? Like recently?
2000.
Okay. And it was what, in the 70s or something?
Yeah, like 1971.
Okay.
Had you heard of those films, Tim?
Shaft. Yeah.
Really? I hadn't.
I had heard of it. I don't think I ever saw it though, but I knew Samuel L. Jackson was in it.
Yeah, so you saw the remake.
I didn't see it. I just
Or
knew of
you
it.
knew of the remake.
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved that part of the documentary because the music was so 70s. Like when it was coming on, it
was.
was like you can feel the era.
Did you
Yeah.
did you get like Sunny vibes? Like
Kind of.
where they do the fake cop thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used that
Yeah.
same like score.
Exactly. Yeah. It was very funny.
Now, Tim, did you hadn't heard of Gordon Parks either, though, right?
No.
Which, I mean, that being said, I don't really know many photographers by
That's
name.
true. I can't think of any others.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
They fly under the radar.
Unless you're into it, you're not really gonna know
Yeah.
those people, right?
right. And I mean, does it help to learn them? Probably.
Yeah. I think there's a popular wildlife photographer called Bill something.
Sam
He's
doesn't
like
even know his
maybe-
last name.
That's the thing, because
No.
Tim was like, even if you're into it, like you'd know it, and I'm like, I'm into wildlife photography, and I can't even remember his name.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just something that they don't get enough credit.
No, but I mean, he was the first African American photographer for Life, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah, he was
Of
the first a
things.
lot.
and then yeah, he worked with a guy named something or other Stryker, and I got really excited. I was like, "What if his name is spelled the same as mine?" It's not.
not.
It was close, but it's not. It's crazy though that he was able to go around and do so many different types of like photography. I mean, yes, but different
What he was
works.
involved with, like he would
Yeah.
be like followed the young gangster and stuff like that.
yeah. And then he's out like just living in with a family down in Mississippi.
Yeah, or he'll do like fashion photography, or just go shoot the Vanderbilt lady.
Oh,
Like,
which he
I
was
feel like
he was
just-
with, by
yeah.
the way.
But still, like just the range of assignments, I guess, or the range of his
Right.
portfolio is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ability to be able to jump between those crowds.
Mhm.
That in and of itself is kind of insane.
Right.
Because I don't know. I mean, I like to think of myself as a people person, and I wouldn't be able to do that with all crowds.
Yeah. And I feel like it'd be hard. I mean, they harped on this a lot about like the way that he connected with people, but I feel like it would be hard to produce like quality good portraits like if you weren't obviously like a really good people person, like
Yeah.
an incredible people person, because like you'd be able to tell that like, oh, I'm not really that into fashion, you know what I mean? But like from his work you don't see that.
Yeah.
Mm.
It definitely looks like he would. That's his main primary thing, like fashion. The guy can take pictures like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're somebody that doesn't know photographers, like you'd be like, dang, that's a good photo. And then
Yeah.
you'd like go see something else and you like wouldn't even know.
Yeah. And then the Red Jackson stuff, that shit's real nice. He's the gangster.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, those are really cool.
Yeah. Well, and some of his framing just in general is
Oh
like
my
very
God.
good. Like there were the pictures of Malcolm X on the airplane where he framed them between the two seats. I was like, holy cow. And then like he's just always using like doorways and stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, he put some thought into
Oh,
his
yeah.
compositions for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's funny. The whole Malcolm X part was kind of a funny little, not bit, but when he was talking about how he was more or less threatened. Like, you'll get a nice box of cigars if I like it, and you'll hear
Yeah.
from us if you don't.
Yeah.
If I don't,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh shit,
That escalated.
Yeah, that was kind of like "Ooh."
damn. But one of his biggest works, the Ella Watson, not Emma. Emma is
Emma Watson.
is from Harry Potter. Ella Watson, however, is the woman standing in front of the American flag with the mop and the broom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That one's actually going. Not how do you say it? It's being put into. It's how like art has moved around in their new exhibits elsewhere.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's actually going to be. It's getting a new exhibit January
Nice.
of 2024, which should be right around when this episode drops.
Hey, look at that.
Yep, it'll be in Minneapolis Institute of Art.
Nice.
Yeah, so he has a whole exhibit up there.
That's cool.
I know. And then I'm wondering if Flavio is going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
That was another story. Like, he went down to Brazil and he's like,
Right.
"Here, I took pictures of this dying kid.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
take it back to America," and people like, I mean, I made a terrible joke of calling it the first GoFundMe. But
it kind of was.
it kind of was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that doesn't happen anymore.
Which part?
The part where people would see something like that and then actually do something. That's terrible. But like, I don't
The
feel like
cynic in
people
you?
are moved enough
Yeah.
to do something like that anymore.
I think everybody's got their own problems going on right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they do.
Which is terrible. But it's cool that it happened. You're like, dang, look at that.
Yeah.
For reals and sure.
For reals and sure.
I almost said for seals. And I was like, that's not right.
For seals. It's like for Frodo. For seals. Maybe
For
there was a
seals.
good movement where somebody helped a seal out. For seals.
Or the Navy goes around saying that.
Oh, true.
Now, I did love every instance that Spike Lee was on
I know.
the documentary. The dude is hilarious.
Oh yeah.
And he has like, if you've seen him like with what is it with Samuel L. Jackson, those two are like best friends. And
Really?
yeah. Spike Lee's one of the main reason why Samuel L. Jackson's a big, I don't know if it's fair to say he's one of the main reasons, but like he helped him out a bunch by putting him in giving him a lead role early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I thought he's just always funny. And so he was funny when he was on screen. And then I love that he always, like, you could tell in his, like, place he had a bunch of pictures and he'd just, like, pick up this picture of
I
Gordon
know.
Parks that he had from his personal collection, like NBD.
yeah, so he clearly actually like cared.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that. Like most of the people are talking about it, but like this guy actually, I mean, he has the wealth to help purchase that.
That's true.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. And then I liked that I don't know why I was surprised by this, but like when I had read the synopsis and just like seen the like screen for it, I was like, oh, okay, it's just going to be about Gordon Parks. But then like they brought other photographers in
Yeah.
telling their stories. And I thought that was cool. Like the one guy, what was his name?
The amateur?
No, Jamil.
Oh, that guy.
Shabazz.
The one that like hung out in the prison?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Loved that he would just like take pictures of people and then come back in an hour and like dole out the prints. Like, here you
Dude,
go.
right?
Like,
That's
that's
pretty
so cool.
Like, hey, can I take your picture? Sure. Stay here for the next hour. I will be right back.
Exactly. Yeah. And then like he gives them their print. I mean, it's true. People like to see their pictures taken. I don't think that goes away. And then to have it in print for sure, like to hold it versus
that's
being on
cool.
your phone.
Oh yeah. Well, and to think like, I mean, a lot of this stuff, Gordon Parks he died in 2006. He led a very long life, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I wish, by the way, I was like, I'm going to riot if like he didn't die like in his bed at old age.
Yeah.
So that was cool that he didn't have anything bad. He ended up being with one of the Vanderbilts as his long-term girlfriend.
Anderson Cooper's mom.
Anderson Cooper's mom is a Vanderbilt. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I connected
That's
the
kinda
dots
wild.
real
What?
quickly on this documentary.
Yeah, I
I
know.
was like, oh.
I dug into it. Apparently, like the whole Vanderbilt wealth got all split up, and that shit happened before he was even born. While she did have a lot of money, it wasn't that like ungodly money.
She didn't like live at the Breakers.
Right.
Okay. Still,
So,
though.
Still, she had a fuckload of money. She had a fuckload of money.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's still crazy. Like the Vanderbilts. Oh, I know that name. Oh.
Yeah.
Like he was hanging around with a gangster, and then he goes and still stays at the Vanderbilts. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What a life, man. What a life.
But one of the other photographers that Sam was talking about, that I didn't get her name, I forgot to get it, but she was doing the thing on Flint, Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
you know, about how they don't have clean water.
Right.
And then they like show the family going and drinking the water down in, what was it, Mississippi?
Yeah, I think it was Mississippi.
Water was muddy, and it's still cleaner than
Right.
the lead water.
Lead isn't lead. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I was going to say, I couldn't decide whether or not I liked his black and white work more than his colored work. Like I feel like there's good.
Yeah, the black and white stood out a lot.
Oh yeah.
But like the color, because of the time he was shooting, like you can tell it's on film and it's got like that haze to it,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I
Yeah.
really liked. So I was like, I can't decide which I like better. But some of the good like gangster and Muhammad Ali portraits were black and white. So I think
Oh yeah,
that's what
Muhammad
like,
Ali.
Oh, yeah.
took it up really high for me.
That's another person. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this dude he's like, he was involved with very major people throughout his life.
Mhm.
That's just crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
But to add on to what you said, Sam, somebody was I was trying to look up more. I was trying to do some research before this episode,
Nice.
and somebody on Reddit was like, "How do I do this photo similar to like what Gordon Parks did in this picture?" And someone's like, "Well, first you got to start shooting on film.
Exactly.
And then second off, you
Step
need
one.
to get really good." And I was like, "Damn,
Yeah. Roasted.
boom, roasted, yeah,
I mean, seriously though,
yeah."
like,
You wish you could shoot that well?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
I like don't
mean, I
even
do too.
see, like, I wouldn't have even seen some of the framing that he did because I'm just not like that good at it. You know what I mean? Like, there's
Right,
an
the
innate
experience
talent
and-
to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I like seeing. I'm good at seeing lines and whatnot.
Those are easier to see, in my opinion.
Yeah, but like framing people and shit. No, I'm not good.
I think it's because you have to like think about it. Like the lines naturally come up, and so it's easy to catch them when they're there. But like framing,
Mhm.
you have to like, well, I guess it's easy to catch sometimes, but like you have to actually step back, look at where you're shooting, look at the person. You know what I mean? Like it takes a lot of effort. And then
Indeed.
learning on film, like who the fuck even knows how to do that?
Yeah,
Old people.
You gotta
'cause
get,
I
like, a
I
dark
do not
room?
know that.
we just do ours digitally.
hmm That's all I know how to do. Well, and now everybody and their mom thinks they're a photographer with the iPhone camera. So,
Yeah, like Sam.
yeah.
Not the iPhone camera part, but
Look at me. Buy an expensive camera, and I'm like, done.
boom, roasted.
I can take pictures of birds.
You can take pictures of birds for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not Gordon Parks level.
No. Or that other guy's
Not
level.
yet.
Not yet, not yet. Dude, you could tell that he was an experienced photographer because there was an image of him with 3 separate cameras
Yeah.
Yeah.
on, which is a whole
Which is
thing.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Sam was telling me one time, like, people don't change their lenses; they just wear a second camera. I'm like,
Right.
the fuck you mean? What do you mean you don't just change the lens?
Yeah.
It
They-
take too long.
I know.
Exactly. Well, and inevitably you bring the wrong one. That's what happens to me. I'm like, fuck it.
Mhm.
I'm bringing the big one. And then I'm like, I had so many options for my small lens. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna be the person that slings multiple cameras around. I can't do that. I don't have the talent for it.
Yeah, they'll expect too much of you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he was hardcore. He had like 3 or 4. I was like, dang,
I know.
it's impressive. And I loved the what was it? The popular day in Harlem or whatever when people showed up just because Gordon Parks was doing the picture. And then like
Dude,
the
right?
redo of that picture was like so many more people than the original picture. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, Gordon Parks is coming. I've got to be there.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
the hip hop feature.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Like you just see it. It's like a full widespread.
Yeah, it was a massive amount of people.
It's like one of those you pull out the magazines and it's like a cartoon bit where it just keeps going.
Yeah, seriously. And then what was it? One of his friends was like, when he was leaving, he was like looking up to the sky, being like, "Oh yeah," and he's like, "Get in the car," like bringing him down to earth.
I know.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Also, he rocked that mustache that whole time.
He sure did.
And then he got some flow going on as he got older.
He did.
Mhm.
Yeah. The only other thing I don't think we've touched on was just like the fact that for the Learning Tree, he wrote all of the music and directed it. And he was still, I presume, doing photography gigs. So, like, dude just did.
He wrote it too.
Yeah, he just did a shit ton.
He
of
wrote
stuff.
He
direct-
worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was working it for sure.
Yeah, and then I find out that he has like he has family, like an actual family, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? When do you have time for both?
When do you
Right.
have time for both?
So that was
It's
crazy to me.
impressive. It's the only word I have for this man. Impressive.
Oh, that's a good word.
Mhm.
All right. Now what?
Well, it's since you picked the film,
Are we saying our ratings before we get the ratings?
correct?
Are there even ratings for documentaries?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that would make sense. Well, this is our first documentary in a while. So that was nice. But I'm not always in the mood for a documentary. I will say that.
Mhm.
I am still going to flip it on because I found it sad that I didn't know who he was and then that he had all of this body of work that is super impressive. I think it's also an engaging documentary because they kind of flip between the like different photographers as well as his work. Like it's easy to watch because half the time you're just seeing his work
Yeah.
come up on screen.
Mhm.
And it's kind of short. It was like an hour and a half. It's not like they droned on. So I personally am going to flip it on, but I am going to put it in my last flip on spot just because like I said, I'm not always in the mood for a documentary. And so that then shifts other stuff up. So like I think Creature from the Black Lagoon is above it with Hidalgo and some of the other ones.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you, Tim?
I was back and forth, but with how we're doing this season, it's going to be in my first flip off spot.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. It was easy to watch and stuff, and it was cool to see his work. Yeah, it feels weird not knowing who he was with how many people he was connected to.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Like you never like heard of like Muhammad Ali's photographer or this guy's photographer. Like guy did a lot.
Yeah.
I
And
know.
it's very impressive, like you said. So it's gonna bump Officer down, and then Magic down. Gonna be there.
Okay.
And then for me, I'm also flipping it on. I actually have it ranked 7th, so it's bumping Leon, the professional, and Creature from the Black Lagoon,
Okay.
the step lower.
Gotcha.
Still above the lines,
Yeah.
but
So just slightly different order than what I have.
yes. All right, moving on to next week. Tim here gets an adapt or die.
Nice.
So Tim has to pick an adapted screenplay.
Woo!
That's it.
Okay.
He has to pick something that has already been written.
Yeah. You didn't go over the ratings for this film.
The ratings for this film, the critics gave it, I'm still not used
Before
to
we
this
get to
newer
next week.
format.
Yeah.
The critics gave it an 88%, audience a 41%, IMDb 7.5 out of 10. I was able to find the Google
Weird.
after last week's debacle
Yeah.
at a
Yeah.
69%.
69, dude. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you all for listening to us. We're so grateful that every 5 to 7 of you decides to tune in with us on Thursdays at 1 p.m. It gets our little hearts to flutter, and we're so thankful that you're here. So let me just steal your ear for a few more minutes while I talk about some of our social media. Social media, we have it. We're on Instagram and that new thing called Threads, although by the time you hear this, I don't know if it'll be new. Either way, the user handle is FlipperFlix. Very easy, very simple. We also have a website called flipperflix.com. You see the simple thing? We really like it. We like to try to make it as easy for you as possible. On the website, you can see our bios, read a little bit more about the 2, 3, 5, 10. No, there's just 3 of us. Crazy people on this podcast. Read a little bit about us, the little amount we're willing to share with you. And read about some of the categories. Depending on the season, there's different categories. So if you missed one, but you think it sounds really excellent, you can go ahead and check it out and be like, crap, let me go look for that one in the episode titles. The last thing and most important thing on the website is that we do recommendations. There's a little contact form where you can throw us a bone, throw us a movie recommendation. We promise we will try to watch it in a timely manner. And yeah, once we watch it, we kind of link it to the website so you can see and come back to it and keep checking to make sure your recommendation got viewed and chit-chatted about. If you don't like the website angle or the social media angle, you can do the old school angle and you can email us, flipperflix@gmail.com. That's right, we have the email. Go ahead and give us a recommendation or just write us a love letter about how much you enjoy our voices, or maybe you can write us a hate letter about how much you're like, God, you guys ramble too much, like get it together. Either way, we'll be happy to hear from you. What else? Well, we would love for you to like and subscribe on whatever podcasting platform that you're listening to us right now. Like I said, we're very thankful you're here, so anything you can do to just let us know you're out there. We would really love it. Like, subscribe, review, and there's plenty of places you can do that. Apple, Spotify, Google. If you're listening to us right now, you kind of know where to do it. So we'll leave it in your hands to make sure it gets done. Also, if you haven't figured it out by now, we drop episodes every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So if you subscribe, you'll be able to tell right when the episode drops because it'll come into your queue. So please go ahead and do that so you can listen to our ramblings every week. We would be eternally grateful. That's it.